Hey guys, welcome to Blab, live tonight at 8 o'clock on the West Coast in Vancouver. This is Brett Coffey. I have the great honor and privilege to blab with Cassiah Jay. Hey Cassiah, how you doing tonight?
I am fantastic, Brett, and thank you. I feel exactly the same way. It is an honor to be here. Thank you for the invitation.
Yeah, well, we're gonna talk mostly about social media tonight, and you know what you do, what you have accomplished with it. I know there's a ton of people that are going to have questions. We're going to roll. I'm going to ask you some questions, and then we'll let people come in, and we'll host a party, so to speak. I keep calling this thing a hangout, which I can't do because a hangout is a hangout, and this is a blab.
Yeah.
So, I was posting on social media today going, hey, come and hang out with us. And people are like, oh, where's the hangout? No, there is no hangout. It's actually a blab.
Yeah.
There's so many things going on in social media right now with new content, new apps to use. I know you love Periscope, and I see you on there all the time. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your background, where you're from, what kind of role you have with social media? I know you're an expert in the field.
Thank you. Well, thank you very much. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. So I guess my background, I'm from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I lived in Dallas now for 5 years. I graduated from Robert Morris University with a degree in marketing. I have a dual minor in communications and psychology. I've just always loved technology. I've loved communicating. So it's so funny. I should have pulled up my little awards. I went through my storage unit when my husband and I traveled back to Ohio. We still have stuff in storage. We're like, we've got to get this together. Okay. So I was going through my boxes and I found all my trophies from when I played volleyball, and I found my awards. When I was younger, I did these speech meets, and I would win like the highest level awards and certificates for being able to talk in front of people. And we would memorize some of them, and some of them we would just get up and talk. And so I laugh now at how in your life, everything that you do, it's like it all adds up. It's like just the next thing as your life continues to unfold. Each thing that we do, whether it's a job that we take or an experience that we have, they're all part of our greater story. So I just fell in love with technology. I feel really fortunate. It's not like when I was younger, I was like, you know what, I'm going to grow up and be a social media expert. We didn't even have social media when I was in high school. We were lucky if we had like a flip phone. It was like the cool thing, right?
Right.
So coming into social media is something I kind of like fell into. I was an early adopter. I was in college when Facebook was first launched. It was, of course, launched to college students and universities. And I would connect with all of my friends in school at the time. And then they started opening up by region. So if you lived in a certain city, you could have access. And then it just kind of became this phenomenon, launching fan pages. And my husband owned a sports marketing company. So he worked with a lot of celebrities and athletes. And they would say, Cassiah, you're always online, or you have a Twitter account, you're on Facebook. Can you help us do this? And so I just took my expertise from my background and was able to start working with them on their personal brand, and then utilizing these tools as really a communication platform, and had a lot of success with various Fortune 100, Fortune 500 brands. And through that all, even my role is changing. It's not necessarily like I'm still a social media expert. I consult on that, and that's what I do. But I've kind of, through social media, turned into a media personality or a public figure in talking about things that I love. So now it's not even that I get paid for what I do. I get paid for who I am. And that's an amazing place to be. And that's really how social media levels the playing field. We really get to share our story with the world. I get to talk about things I'm passionate about, which is a body, a business, and a life that you love. And we get to do that through digital. You're in Vancouver, I'm down here in Dallas, but we're so connected. We've got all these amazing people who are joining our conversation. So social media has totally changed my life.
Cool, very cool. So what kind of platforms do you gravitate to? Is there something specific that you like to use? Do you like to broadcast out? You know that I'm a huge Grant Cardone follower, and he just is on
everything.
If it moves digitally, he's on it.
Yeah, he's amazing, right? I would say for me, because I am so busy and because I have other responsibilities in my life, I wish I could be everywhere all the time. I wish I could do better on certain channels. I'd love to grow my Instagram following. I would love to do a better job on certain platforms. On Twitter, for example, I would love to do a better job. I was an early adopter on Facebook, so that's really where I've built a core community. So you'll hear me talk a lot about building communities, right? And I think that we have to think about social media not as how many places can we be or how much of a presence can we have, but what kind of impact are we making? And whether or not we have a lot of fans, do we really have influence? And that's really what I look for. I look more for, where am I connecting the most with people? What does my audience want to hear from me? And I try to do things with no resistance. So if I find that the platform is time consuming or it's not really somewhere that I feel super engaged with the community, I'm very careful with how I spend my time. So I would rather have 3 platforms where I'm super engaged and have a big following that I know I have influence over, that I'm adding great value to consistently, than be a lot of places. So Facebook obviously is my number one primary forum. I've spent a lot of time building that community. I love them. But secondly, I love to use Periscope. Video is something I've really gotten accustomed to just the past 2 years, really, when I started doing Hangouts and I started doing the J-World show, and got quite a following from that. And I think people just love seeing other people on video. And with the launch of Periscope and now here on Blab, the ability to just be with that other person and make that connection is amazing to me. I've also recently adopted Snapchat, and I never understood it. I never even took the time to start learning it. And then, I got on and I fell in love with this platform. People say, well, the content disappears, but we've been listening to radio ads and they disappear. We've been watching commercials and they disappear. So it's a newer concept. You can save your snaps down, but Snapchat has been a really, really fun platform for me lately, and one that I've kind of recently adopted. So there's so many great platforms. I would say, pick maybe the top 3, pick the ones that you love using, the ones where you can share your content and where your audience already is. We also need to be careful of, where is our audience? Who are we talking to? And what's our message that we're sharing?
Yeah, I'll have to get some lessons with you on Snapchat. I've got an account. I have no clue actually how to use it at all.
I gotta follow you.
I agree. Like I'm all over Twitter, all over Facebook, and now Blab, even less with Periscope, because I love this format. It's just more of an open conversation and chat back and forth. So tell me, you said it before we started the recording, but tell me a little bit about your Periscope experience. You and I were backstage at an event. And we were talking, we were arguing is not the right word, but we were competing about which, and you won that argument, by the way.
Thank you.
Periscope.
Or Meerkat.
Meerkat.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about your Periscope and how that all sort of came to be.
It was totally from you. So thank you. And that's the reason I accepted your invitation tonight to be on Blab. I thought, who better to introduce me to this platform than the gentleman who introduced me to Periscope. So I had seen it and my phone was blowing up with this crazy tweet noise. And I was like, what is that annoying thing? And then you and I had talked about, you were like, Periscope, what do you mean you're not Periscoping? And when we sat down in Salt Lake City at an event and you showed me what you were doing, I was like, wow, that's really interesting. So I started utilizing the platform and fell in love with it. It was so easy to immediately bring people into my life or into an event or into whatever I was doing. And I loved that. I'm a very open communicator. Obviously, I try not to be negative, but I certainly show sides of myself and my life. It's like we're all our own reality show, right? So even though I'm kind of a public figure, I also love bringing people into behind the scenes look at, different experiences that I have and things that I do. So when I saw Periscope, I was like, this is going to totally change the game. It's amazing. And I did. I fell in love with that platform. And even still, I do Periscopes and have hundreds of people that join my Periscopes. And I love talking to them and I love that community. However, I agree with you. I'm very much into, a multiple way or two-way communication, not necessarily just from me to my audience. And even though they can chat and they can leave messages, it is not the same as being able to say, hey, why don't you come in the room and join us? That is amazing. It's like allowing people to come in. So I think this is definitely a more dynamic platform. I'm excited to be here. I'm thrilled how you've adopted it because I've been watching how you're using it. And obviously, I always pick your brain for your expertise and how things work. And thank you for doing that. I really think you've done an outstanding job. And so far, I love it. I'm even thinking, like, is this something that maybe at some point is going to replace Hangouts? And so that's the thing, too, because we do a lot of Google Hangouts. And I think there's still a place for them. I think it's like everything. I can't find the one size fits all platform that I love, whether it's for social media management or, a communications platform. Everything has its pros and some things have their cons. But ideally, I think Periscope, obviously with Twitter purchasing them and now being a brand outside of that. They also won App of the Year. Did you see that? 2015 App of the Year was Periscope.
Oh, no, I didn't see that.
Yeah.
And you were talking about Facebook is about to go more public with mentions as well.
Yeah, I saw that and was blown away. Because you know me, I'm writing Facebook like, please, can I have Facebook Live? I really want this platform. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, that's perfect forum for me because I have such a great following on Facebook, and that's really where my community is engaged. But so they rolled out Facebook Live, which was to celebrities or anybody that had a verified page could kind of do the Periscope thing on Facebook where they could go live. And I just think it's remarkable. The only thing with this, and it's going to be a slow rollout, but they are rolling it out to the public. Their whole concept is communication. They want to keep people on the site as long as possible. And they want to give us the same freedoms as Blab and Periscope, allowing people to literally come into our life. So we no longer have to post a video or share a photo. We can literally say, hey, we're at our birthday party or we're at this live event and I'm with so-and-so, and literally bring people in real time. And I just think this concept it's unbelievably remarkable. Never in my wildest dreams when I was younger would I have thought it would have come to this. But of course, I will totally use that. Problem I see with that is our Facebookers, our Facebook community is so used to taking their time on things, right? It's like, well, whenever it's convenient for me to sit down and scroll through my news feed, and if I maybe want to catch a video, I might open the link, I might not open the link. We might want to just keep scrolling, like it might not be convenient. Right. So they're not used to the behavior of joining a live conversation or having any type of two-way conversation instantaneously. Like on Periscope, we've learned that behavior of it's not just you getting on camera. It is a very interactive and engaged conversation. And I think it's gonna definitely be a learning curve for the Facebook community because they're just not used to this style of very quick interactive communication.
Yeah, true enough. I know a couple people in the chat here. They love the idea, the concept of Blab, because we get to be so interactive. Again, mentions is going to be very much like Periscope. It's going to be one way outside of the chat. So you got to be a reader and can, scroll and interact that way. Whereas this is, this is literally, for me, this is coffee talk. Yeah. Right? So really cool. We talked earlier in the week and you said that you're launching a blog. You got a couple new things that you're going to be doing. Can you elaborate at all? Can you tell us what's going on?
Sure. I would be delighted to. So I think our lives are evolutionary and constantly evolving and unfolding. And I'm so grateful for my life and my community that I've had, for the people that believed in me before I ever became who I am. And as I become even more, because I have a desire to live a very fulfilled life, but to contribute in a huge way. And I think that's really all what we're here to do is our contribution. So when I talk about things that I'm passionate about, I am very, very passionate about entrepreneurship. I think everybody should have at least some sort of home-based business or run and manage a business of their own. Try selling something, because as an entrepreneur, you learn so many amazing skills. You really give back to your community. You can do more things. And when you add skill to your life, your value increases, and you have no choice but to make more money, because money is the result, right? It's not like, oh, I'm going to make more money. It's like, if I do this, then extra money comes into your life because you're adding more value to your community. So lots of stuff going on in the entrepreneurial community. Passionate about home-based business, and obviously my role with the company that I represent. I'm super proud of it, and I love that community. I also am very passionate about health and wellness. I think we should all be incredibly reverent to our bodies. I, of course, believe in balance, but I also believe in really pursuing our best bodies and being super reverent. This is the only place that we have to live, and we're constantly seeing advances in technology. We make choices every single day, and we can either choose to move closer to our goals and dreams or move further away from them. And so I'm also a big proponent of health and wellness. And so part of what you'll see on my blog is going to talk about entrepreneurship. We're going to talk about health and wellness and eating clean, living clean, working out, pursuing your best body, and of course, beauty, because that's one thing that just happens to be right up my alley. I love cosmetics. I love hair and makeup. I happen to be contracted with a beauty company. And so you'll be hearing a lot more from me. And those are the questions I get all the time too. It's like, people will follow me for my social media expertise, but then they're like, well, what mascara do you use? And they always want to know all my makeup tips. So lots of good stuff on CassiahJay.com and just revamping it. I think it's super powerful for all of us to not be afraid to move to that next level. And Brett, I have to give you and Meg big props too. I love your coffee talk. I love how you've just went against the odds and stepped into like just being your own personality and really, really being super consistent, putting yourself out there online. I think the scary part for everybody is it's really vulnerable to get online. It is vulnerable to have your own fan page or call yourself a public figure or get on camera and think you have something worth saying. And a lot of people hold themselves back. We don't even realize what remarkable people we are and how talented and what true geniuses we are until we give ourselves a chance to actually tap into that. So I hope that my blog inspires other people like myself. My dad was a truck driver. I always tell people I come from very, very humble beginnings. As a matter of fact, I grew up very poor. I was a tomboy. I was chubby in high school. I was book smart, so I had that going for me. But I think our obstacles in our lives are what make us who we are, and when we overcome them, we have an obligation to help other people do the same thing. And so I want to just applaud you and Meg for your coffee talk and for what you're doing in the entrepreneurial community. I think is remarkable.
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, I know. I mean, this is really out of my comfort zone. I've really had to dive into this and step out. There's that fear factor that everybody has.
Yeah.
And if you want to move forward, you got to step off the cliff and just go for it. There is no, you can't ease your way in. And I really, I believe it's all. Oh, we're getting feedback.
Oh, are we?
Is that you?
Have we been getting it the whole time?
Nope, just now. A little bit of feedback. Oh, it's gone now.
Oh, okay. I was like, is it coming through? It could be my neighbors. They're loud.
But yeah,
if you hear it again, tell me.
That fear factor, you just have to go for it. And I believe frequency is more important first. Mm-hmm. You work on your frequency of getting consistent, and then you work on your content and getting better and making your message better.
Yeah, always improve. It's constant, never-ending improvement, and I do that too. I find myself. Dan makes fun of me because I love watching like the home shopping channel, and I love watching QVC. And he'll say, "What are you doing?" And I'm going. I'm so fascinated by talk show hosts. I'm fascinated by anybody that can pitch a product. I want to know what they're saying and how they're saying it because I want to be constantly improving my skill set. So it is taking yourself out of your comfort zone. The other thing that I've found that's been really valuable for me too, Brett, is yes, I'm all about moving out of your comfort zone, but I'm also about focusing on my strengths and not even worrying about my weaknesses. Like, I'm not going to get on here and talk about boxing. I don't know anything about it, but my husband has actually done broadcasting before boxing, and he can do it with his eyes closed. It's amazing. So I would also tell people, don't feel like you have to be some great motivational speaker or you have to be some sort of doctor or lawyer or expert at what you're doing to get on here. Everybody has meaningful experiences and everybody's great at something. I don't know what your job is, but if maybe you work in retail and you can give people great fashion tips on how to save money during the holidays or whatever it is, like, just focus on things that you're really great at. Because what I find is when I'm being interviewed or when I'm asked to talk about certain subjects, if it's something I'm passionate about and know really well, it is a breeze for me to talk about it. So do things with less resistance too. Talk about things that you're really great at. Then you get comfortable seeing yourself on camera and being on camera. And then you can move a little bit more out of your comfort zone and really get structured with what it is that you want to talk about.
Yeah, everybody has a little bit of greatness in them somewhere. They just have to bring it out. I mean, that's the bottom line, right?
Indeed. I think we were all born to be great. I definitely, one of my favorite books is by Wallace Wattles, and it's The Science of Being Rich, The Science of Being Well, Science of Being Great. And he talks about in being great that our genius is not inherited, that it actually has nothing to do with where we come from or what our parents' lineage is, that everybody can learn different skill sets and that we all can tap into our true genius. And I think we all really are. It's just whether or not we allow ourselves to read more books, right? And we've got the internet. We have unlimited access to amazing information, content for free. Shut the television off. Read more books. Watch more blabs, but don't waste time watching blabs where you're not learning new skills or learning valuable content. Watch ones where they're teaching you something or giving you great, you can watch, look at Grant Cardone. The amount of free content that he gives all the time is astonishing. In sales or in real estate or whatever, and it doesn't matter what you're in. Watch these people. They are giving you what I found is most experts who are true experts, they give you their very best stuff for free. Like, yes, you can go to their seminars, but they are very generous with their expertise and generous with their time. And I would say tap into it, because learning is part of increasing your value in the marketplace.
Absolutely. And I think it was Jack who said in the comments here that, he asked, how do you not go down the vortex of all this social media and trying to figure it out? And that's tough, because Periscope for me, when it first started, I was addicted. I couldn't turn it off. And then finally I had to go, okay, this isn't producing any results for me. Watching different people talk about different things, that it was cool, but it wasn't, it just wasn't, it was too much reality TV.
Indeed. And that's a distraction, right? And I always say, there's two kinds of people, Brett. There are content consumers and there are content creators. And if you want to make money and you want to be someone of note and you want to reach and impact the most people, you have got to be a creator and not a consumer. The world is full of consumers who are buying other people's stuff, making other people extremely rich. You need to find a way to be a creator. So be a content creator, share your story, share your blog post, see yourself as being that media personality, and don't waste time idolizing other people and what it is that they're doing and being so obsessed with like catching all of their stuff, and be more like, okay, how am I stepping into my greatness, and who am I supposed to connect with, and who's supposed to hear my message today? I always look at that too, and I'm not even a religious person. I would consider myself much more spiritual than religious, but even before I do shows, I always just am like, I want to connect with the right people. I want my message to impact people's lives. I want people leaving my show or leaving my talk feeling more inspired and more encouraged to go out and do and have more in their life. And so I think we have to also set our intentions for what it is. But there is a time to go relax, and there is a time to check out what other people are doing. That's research, right? And there's nothing new under the sun. So a lot of the stuff that I do, I even recreate. I'm constantly looking at what are other brands doing. Even for like my consulting clients, I'm wanting to research and do an analysis on partnering brands like that are in the same niche. And we're looking at, how can we be better, and what are they doing that's great, and what are they doing that we could maybe make our own? So there is a time and place also, Brett, for research, but it has to be, you have to be so focused on where you're going that you're not worried about what other people are doing. And a lot of times people are drifters. They get confused by social media because they have no end game. They don't know where they're going to be a month from now. They don't know where they're going to be a year from now. You need to get really clear on who's Cassiah 3 years from now, who's Brett Coffey 5 years from now. And you need to like be at that place and work your way back. A lot of people are like, well, when I get more followers, maybe I'll do a Periscope. Like, it doesn't work that way. You got to start where you are.
That's exactly what I was going to say, because I wanted to finish this with one question. We'll stop the recording and we'll open it up to questions and see if somebody jumps in. If somebody was brand new, regardless of the industry that they're in, where do you think they should start? Obviously, people have started because they're here with us, but this vast social media and so much stuff coming at you. If you were brand new today,
sure,
where would you go as far as social media to get started in the terms of thinking, I'm going to start to brand myself and I want to focus in a particular platform? Where would you go?
That's a tough question, because it's so, there's no right answer, if that makes sense. So what I'm going to give you is obviously opinion based. I would say, I always tell people, pick the platform that's right for you, and pick the platform where your audience already is, right? So if you're marketing to millennials and kids, get on Snapchat. That's where they all hang out. That's where you're going to make the deepest connection with them. If your brand is very visual, get on Instagram. People love to see pictures. And if you've got great photography, that's a great platform to be on. Primarily, I know I say this all the time, but as far as connections and analytics and demographics and being able to really target your specific audience and consumer, Facebook, because it's the largest, it's the most relevant, you have the most options on it. So I always tell people, obviously, Facebook is a great place if you're planning on spending money on ads and you're planning on really connecting with your consumer, and positioning yourself, right? Because people are going to ask you, what's your website? What's your Facebook page? They want to know. And even in just having a Facebook page really does create like a prestige for your brand, and going, oh, okay, well, you have a page. It's kind of like these subconscious things that we don't even realize. And there are also things in our marketing called perceived value. So you can do certain things like have a great headshot, and that immediately elevates your brand and takes it to the next level. Have your own logo that elevates your brand and takes it to the next level. Pick colors and color scheme for your content so that everything looks congruent. And when they see a post from you or they see a picture from you, it's like, oh, that's from Brett Coffey. I recognize his branding, or I recognize his logo. People are very visual, and social media is very visual. So, you know, it could be a never-ending thing. Don't feel like you have to be all things to all people, and don't feel like you have to be all places. I would rather have 1 to 3 social media platforms that I'm using frequently, that I've got an amazing community that loves me, that I love right back, that's super engaged, that I have influence over, than try to be on every social media platform and understand it and use it. It's just craziness. So you do need to get clear on obviously what your goals are in terms of, are you positioning yourself? Are you selling stuff? You know, it could be a variety of platforms.
Absolutely. Well, let's end with this, Cassiah. Why don't you close it out with how people can get in touch with you, connect with you, where to find you on the 3 platforms that you're on.
3 platforms. Okay, well, if I have to narrow it down. Thank you, Brett. Thank you for having me. So you can find me at cassiahjay.com. It's my handle also. I am on Twitter, Instagram at Cassiah. And if you go to my fan page, which is facebook.com/Cassiah Jay, I'm giving away a free ebook on 7 tips to boost your brand on social media. So you can get that by clicking the sign up button on my fan page. It's my gift to you, totally gratis. And whether you are an expert social media user or a novice and brand new, I hope that you'll find something super valuable inside of that. Brett, as always, I just want to thank you so much for bringing me on. Thank you for introducing me to this amazing platform. And for all of you watching, thank you so much for being with me. I know you could be doing anything in the world right now, and the fact that you're here hanging out with me and Brett is tremendously meaningful. All the people that I meet online, I love connecting with. So, you know, feel free to reach out to me. I'd love to hear your feedback, or if I can help any of you guys in any way, please let me know. Again, Brett, what a remarkable leader you are. I applaud you for your efforts online and everything that you're doing. You're blown up. You're a total star. Congratulations to you on your success, and I wish you nothing but continued success as you move about and impact the lives of so many people in the future. So thank you.
Oh, thank you. It was great having you here and introducing you to another platform now that you can blow
You're
up.
my go-to guy.
So I'll stop the recording and we'll open it up to everybody.